a bit. You wrote something interesting in your book about those days on the South Side as a community organizer. You referred to yourself as a reluctant skeptic, doubtful of your own motives, having too many quarrels with God to accept a salvation too easily won. Now, this sounds like a very frustrated guy, and for somebody who everyone says, and I know it's true, has a great sense of humor now, man, could you lighten up back then or not?
You know, when I was in New York in my last couple of years of college, you know, my mother used to tease me and call me Gandhi, you know, because I had like, I had 2 plates and 2 towels and, you know, didn't have a television set.
Minimalist.
Oh, I mean, I was just an ascetic. And, but, you know, part of it was, I think, having to kind of burn off a lot of excess that I'd gone through. You know, I went through my wild times when I was in high school. And, you know, I think I overcompensated by just becoming deadly serious during, you know, those late college years and my, you know, the years that I was organizing. And you know, I would, you know, people would invite me to parties and I'd say, what are you talking about? We've got a revolution, you know, that has to take place. You know, yeah, just real, way too somber. And I think that, you know, as I got more comfortable with who I was and you know, ended up, I think, recognizing that you're not going to survive for the long haul if you're concerned about issues of justice and social change, if you don't have a sense of humor.
Your religious faith dictates that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Would you elaborate on that?
Well, what I believe is that marriage is between a man and a woman. But what I also believe is that we have an obligation to make sure that gays and lesbians have the rights of citizenship that afford them visitations to hospitals, that allow them to be, to transfer property between partners, to make certain that they're not discriminated on the job. You know, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. And I'm not in favor of gay marriage. But when you start playing around with constitutions. Today I'm proud to issue a presidential memorandum that paves the way for long overdue progress in our nation's pursuit of equality. Among the steps we have not yet taken is to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act. I believe it's discriminatory. I think it interferes with states' rights, and we will work with Congress to overturn it. And while progress may be taking longer than you'd like as a result of all that we face, and that's the truth, do not doubt the direction we are heading and the destination we will reach. My expectation is that when you look back on these years, you will see a time in which we put a stop to discrimination against gays and lesbians, whether in the office or on the battlefield. This morning, I am proud to sign a law that will bring an end to Don't Ask, Don't Tell. No longer will our country be denied the service of thousands of patriotic Americans who were forced to leave the military. And lesbians should be able to get married. I've spoken about this recently. As I've said, you know, my feelings about this are constantly evolving. I struggle with this. I have to tell you, as I said, I've been going through an evolution on this issue. At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
No, this whole thing with Obama saying the rich don't pay their taxes is fucking bullshit. And I voted for the guy and I'm a Democrat. What a fucking asshole. The rich don't pay their taxes. Let me tell you something, right? First they say to you, you're dead broke. The United States of America, you can do anything you want. Go for it. So then you go for it, and then you make it, and everyone's like, fuck you. The fuck is that? You just said go for it. He himself is the perfect example. He's amazing. He had nothing. He had no father. He was, you know, a mixed race, which is a burden. And in the United, don't kid yourself, you know, growing up like that. And no money, and the guy ends up being at Harvard. He's the president of the United States.
And you're like, fuck you.
And he's like, and now he's like, fuck me. And everyone who made it like me, it's like, you know, you have to work your ass off, you know.
Yeah.
If I make $1, and out of every dollar I'm taxed at half at 50 cents I have to give, isn't that like enough? Yes. So for every dollar you make, $2, you have to give $1 back. No, that's not right. No, you're not paying enough.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, May 16th, 2012, and I'm Darko. Check out my website, please. It's ggnonline.com, and on YouTube, ddarko2012 and ddarko2013 are my YouTube channels. All the headlines and links will be posted in these YouTube video descriptions, so check out those links. So I'm just going to lead into this. New Obama book, shocker, Kennedys and Obamas at war. Caroline considers Obama a liar. So despite endorsing Obama in 2008, JFK's daughter Caroline now considers Obama a liar, according to a family source in Edward Klein's new book on Obama called The Amateur. It goes on and says that the past support for Obama, which was mirrored by the late Senator Ted Kennedy, caused a rift in the family. Talked about an incident where Bobby Kennedy got in the uncle's Ted's face over Ted's support for the president. Remember, Obama was supposedly a liberal, right? A progressive. So it'd be kind of odd that they would both be at odds. So it says here, some of the Kennedys' diminishing support for the president is due to the Obamas snubbing several members of the Kennedy family on multiple occasions. So this is going to segue into these other articles that I've seen. There's actually more. I just didn't want to spend the whole freaking video on them. So, relationship between Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey breaks down. So the relationship between Michelle Obama and Oprah, arguably the two biggest female influences on Barack Obama's presidency, has reached a breaking point according to a controversial new book. And it says here that it also suggests Mrs. Obama criticized Miss Winfrey's weight. That's pretty crazy. So they are kind of elitist, and that's part of this. I don't know what you want to call this system, but it is a scientific dictatorship. It uses kind of communism for the people, and it uses a kind of form of fascism for the elites that run it. So you can see why he is calling or refers to himself as a revolutionary, and that he kind of always has those pictures with his chin held high like Mussolini. And this whole thing about him having a tough upbringing and all that, I just think it's a bunch of crap. I think the guy was totally groomed. His grandmother was the head of the Bank of Hawaii, and his father, yeah, he may not have known him, but he was also in finance and stuff like that. So I don't think he was raised from the garbage bins of New York City or something, or Chicago. But he's burning his bridges, right, for the people that helped get him there. So I came across this article from May 14th, 2012. Black pastors speak out on Obama's gay marriage stance. So the pastors across the country dwelt on President Obama's stance during worship services Sunday after Obama's May 9th announcement that he supports gay marriage. Someone on the Yahoo comment board made a comment to me about a comment that I made. And basically he was just saying, there's no gay blacks. Well, I didn't say that, but this is what these people that follow, they're like zombies, they're useful idiots for people that like Obama work for. And they eat this stuff up. And just to let you know, or just to include, what was the comment that I made? Well, it was on the person who is self-immolated, or basically burned themselves at the Andrew Breivik court hearing. Remember, he's doing the whole Nazi salute in court. I showed that, but he's still in court right now, and someone burned themselves. I don't know if it was for him or against him or whatever, but somebody said, man, there's really a bunch of nuts, insane people. What's the matter with the men over there? And I made a comment, and I was just like, I'm not really sure what it is, but I know that what's going on over there in Scandinavia is going on in Europe, and it's going on in the United States, which is they're killing people's culture. They're erasing their past, and I've heard this said before, but it's so true, because I've always felt this, which is if you don't know the past and you don't know what's going on now, you won't be able to change the future. And that's what they're doing. So these people going to, I think it was Afro-Synergy, T. West, I think it is. So he made a video about basically white women in Scandinavia from Sweden going to Africa to meet straight men, because as a whole, not every single black man, but as a whole, most African men, including I guess here apparently in the United States, are not really on board with the whole homosexuality. So they have to go to another country because there's so many of them in Scandinavia. So I made that comment. I was like, I included that reference, and the guy said, oh, well, every black guy isn't gay and blah, 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 blah. And someone said, you need to get out, what did they say? Did you fall out of a tree or something? So to go back to the original comment that I was responding to, which was, why are all these nuts coming out of this place? I said, and I finished up with my comment saying that, the destroying of their culture, what I said could be, one reason or one factor as to why there are so many people like this. Like Breivik, maybe he wasn't an Israeli agent. Maybe he was just a tool bag. Maybe he really believed in what he was doing as far as the cleansing, whatever, of Scandinavia. But I gave an honest answer, right? And what did I get? I got mostly thumbs down, 2 thumbs up, or something like that. And see, people ask the questions, but they don't really want to hear the answers. But it's not even about gay marriage. It's about what Breitbart was saying. This guy was put here to divide this country up, and that's exactly what he's doing. And this is perfect right before the election. And as a closet communist, as a closet worker for the Luciferians, this agenda goes for it, right? It's right in line. So you've heard me mention this before, that I've talked with Native Americans before. They said that in the Sioux traditions that homosexuals were rare, but they were seen as very spiritual beings. Now, if you ask me personally, I don't think that this place is chock full of spiritual beings, and I just think this is hell on earth. So this is being socially engineered. So, a lot of these people were used. Many blacks shrug off Obama's new views on gays. And it's not really even about whether he's for abortion or not, or whether Obama himself is a member of a Chicago gay brothel man's club in Chicago, or that Europe feels snubbed by Obama, or Putin snubs Obama. Or that the elite's golden boy, their corporate manufactured president or CEO for the U.S., didn't get a boost in his pre-election bid by going on and supporting this gay marriage decision, because he's going to leave, and they'll put in a neocon, fascist, globalist Republican, or they'll put in another person from the left that'll say that they're a progressive, and they're not. And so these same sheeple or zombies will ask questions. Well, what do we do? What do we do? Well, I guess I'll give them the answer they want to hear, which is, I guess, go vote for the same puppet, for the same stooge, who basically tells you what you want to hear. So it says here, Michigan mayor calls pro-lifers forces of darkness. The mayor of Grand Rapids was a keynote speaker at a fundraising event for Planned Parenthood abortion business, where he defended taxpayers' funding for the organization that does more than 25% of abortions nationwide. He said, yet every year the forces of darkness seek to deprive women of the health and education they need by choking off the funding to the eugenics. And it sucks that women have to even face these decisions because of economic warfare that's being carried out of them, where it's basically economically, financially not feasible to have children. In fact, they're being told, you really shouldn't if you want to have a career, women. And it's your body. It's your choice, right? And, I'm not calling for any laws to be created to do this or not do that, but it's like, when you have a child or a birth or something like that, or you're pregnant, it's the result of an action. So I guess what I'm saying is responsibility, right? For one's actions. So unfortunately, it's not really their choice, their body anymore. It's somebody else's body, somebody else's choice. Okay, so DHS considers collecting DNA from kids. DEA and U.S. Marshals already do. So, it just says here, reiterating what is already being done. It's been done, which is they're collecting DNA in infants at hospitals. And they try to go in there and say, oh, it's about, people that are getting arrested. Well, states retain infant DNA after tests. This is from 2010. Newborn DNA sent to U.S. military for law enforcement database without parental consent. So this has been going on for a while. And this was in Bush, so it's not just Obama. Working with highly resistant parents, strategies to tackle obstructive behavior and disguise compliance. This, of course, is referring to the relationship between social workers and the caretakers for the state's assets, the parents of the children. And just like the DNA samples being taken from infants under the Bush regime, says here, Chomsky, Bush kidnapped and tortured, and Obama murders. And we have this, U.S. seeks Global Special Operations Network. Remember, I was just telling you about that, special ops, basically to combat terrorism. That's you that's trying to retain your culture. But just like Bush, Obama does what? He preserves renditions, secret renditions, as a counterterrorism tool.